This is chess, but you can upgrade your pieces. Upgrading pieces cost chess money which you earn by moving your pieces or capturing enemies. With every upgrade your pieces get stronger and stronger, until they reach their maximum level, and today I will show you all of those upgrades. Let's start it with the pawns upgrades. Okay, so you moved and captured a couple of pieces, and now you have enough money to upgrade one of your pawns to the second level. It's going to cost 150 chess dollars, and it'll literally add a jet engine to your pawn, which will enable your pawn to move further. Specifically, instead of 1 square forwards, it'll now be able to always move 2 squares forwards, which makes attacking with that pawn and promoting it way easier. Alright, but the pawn has 2 more upgrades ahead of it, so let's check them out as well. Okay, so this next third level upgrade will cost you 200 chess bucks. Oh, and by the way, moving your piece earns you 50 chess bucks, and capturing 150 chess bucks, meaning you gotta move 3 times or take 1 enemy piece to get this next upgrade. And it's honestly kinda worth it getting it for this amount of chess money, as it gives your pawn a sword. This sword doesn't only make your pawn look cooler, it also allows your pawn to capture other pieces with the forwards movement, which is real useful for breaking through walls of your opponent's pawns, especially that your pawn can move 2 squares forwards now, as remember the jet engine doesn't go anywhere, it stays here. Okay, but if you invest another 150 chess bucks into that pawn of yours, then your pawn gets upgraded into a level 5 pawn. This is the last pawn upgrade, at least in this video, and it really makes your pawn a lot stronger. It also gives your pawn one cool ability, which can be really useful if you want to capture a piece, but don't want to lose the pawn that you've invested so much chess money in. Namely, it allows your pawn to capture completely without moving on these 2 squares right here. And so even if a piece on these squares is protected, your pawn doesn't care, and it can still capture it without getting captured himself. Okay, the pawn's upgrades are done. So let's go on to the knight's upgrades. Now first up, level 2 knight is just a knight with a life. This is going to cost you 300 bucks. Which is because giving the knight a life is quite a big upgrade. I mean, you just have the same piece, but twice. Oh, and by the way, the knight respawns just after getting captured, on the closest square to this corner. Also, if your knight loses that extra life, you don't buy it again, you just buy the next upgrade. Speaking of which, next up is the level 3 knight. When you promote the knight to this level, it drinks a special potion, the extending potion, which, as you could have guessed, extends our knight to an uncomfortable length. Shoot, that looks painful. I'm sorry, knight, trust me, it's worth it.
It's okay, bro.
Okay, but the knight itself isn't the only thing that gets extended. The movement also gets extended, which means that you can now move 2 times in the same direction. That makes the extended knight a strong piece. I would even value it at like 5 points. And for this reason, using the extending potion on the knight will cost you 400 chess dollars. That's a lot. Okay, next upgrade, we'll just add a bow to our knight, which is gonna cost you about 400 chess bucks, but trust me, it'll be worth it. This bow's gonna provide your knight with great ranged attack abilities to crush your opponents from distance, just like this. Okay, but where can you actually shoot the arrows to? Well, up to 3 squares diagonally like shown on this board. That's nothing crazy, but that's this bow's range, and you can't shoot any further with it. It's still a lot for a ranged attack when you think about it. Let's go to the next upgrade of the knight. This is the last upgrade available to our knight. It is very costly, 700 chess bucks for this one. Although you know, it is a level 10 upgrade after all. And it is also quite useful. What this upgrade does is it gives out knight the bishop's mage. And what this bishop's mage does is it allows it to move diagonally in every direction from every square that it moves to. That's insane. The knight's movement literally looks like this after including all the upgrades. Wow, that's strong. Alright, we've got all the knight's upgrades done, so let's take a look at what bishop gets here. First, there's the freeze potion, which after being drank by the bishop, it makes him able to freeze other pieces, so that they can't move at all. Which pieces does it freeze though, you may ask? And the answer is only the ones around him, and of course only the opponent pieces. Why the heck would you freeze your own teammates after all? You gotta pay 500 chess dollars for it. Quite expensive, but it is what it is. Next, we can upgrade the bishop all the way to level 20. Nice, that's a high level. After you've bought this upgrade, our bishop's gonna take steroids. Yep, that's the pathway he chose to go in. We have nothing to stop him. Steroids obviously make the bishop a lot stronger, and that's to a point where it literally transforms into a queen. Except it doesn't exactly look like the queen, it just moves like it. Now that's quite the upgrade, isn't it? Yeah, and by the way, this bishop retains the freezing abilities that it got in the previous upgrade, making it even better. This upgrade costs 600 bucks. Alright, that's it for the bishop, let's go on to the rook. Okay, so at first the rook's gonna get a literal cannon added on top of it. That combination is kind of fitting, to be honest. I mean, cannons go well with towers, but anyways, what does this cannon, which costs 500 chess dollars by the way, which is not a small amount, do? Well, to put it shortly, it just gives our rook a ranged attack up to 3 squares out to its sides. Instead of having to move somewhere, you just fire a cannonball and boom, the enemy piece is gone. Alright, next upgrade simply just turns our rook into a freaking castle. It costs 400 chess dollars, and I know, building an entire freaking castle is pretty expensive, although once the castle is built, it can give some great results. That's because instead of just moving to its sides, it has a cool twist to its movement. Namely, whenever it encounters an enemy piece on its way, then it is able to move 1 square further from that piece, and also to the sides from that piece, which can be super useful for taking a piece that is shielded by another piece in front of it. Alright, next up are the queen's upgrades. First of which is a second level queen upgrade. This upgrade gives our queen a literal katana, yes, the one that the samurais were using. Now this katana is gonna come in handy in quite a few situations, and it isn't even that expensive, it only costs 200 chess dollars, but anyways, here's what it actually does. So if the queen holds the katana, it can simply capture 1 square around itself without moving. That's pretty much it. Okay, the katana upgrade is done. Next up, we've got the 10 level queen with a horse's head. Okay, so the next upgrade of the queen enables it to put the horse's head on. This must be quite the experience, right? Well yes, and it costs 400 bucks. Pretty good deal compared to what it gives in return. You guys might have already caught on to what ability it gives to our queen, but in case you didn't, I'll tell you that it enables it to move like a knight, which I think is a pretty strong addition. But guys, trust me, it's nothing compared to this next and last queen upgrade. This is the queen's 100 level upgrade. It's super powerful, and so let me explain how it works and all that. Okay, so this 100th level queen upgrade that I've hyped up a second ago actually gives the queen wings. Now this is actually a pretty big deal, as the wings allow the queen to fly over other pieces, and so if she has those wings equipped, she can perform moves like this one, or this one. That's real useful for faster travel and surprising your opponent. There is one catch regarding those wings though, and it's that your queen cannot capture a piece in the same move as it moved over a piece, so basically it can't do this. Last thing you gotta know is that the wings for the queen cost 700 bucks. And now let's go on to the king, and also the last upgrade of this entire video. There is one big difference in the king in this variant. Namely, to win, you don't have to checkmate it, rather you have to capture it. That's it. Okay, now let me talk about the one upgrade that the king has. So this upgrade is gonna cost you exactly 250 chess bucks. It upgrades your king to level 2, and it simply adds a long arm to the king. Looks interesting, doesn't it? Yeah, I think so too, and what it does is it grants your king ranged attack, 2 squares to the sides in every direction. That's it. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. If you want to play this variant, you can check it out on my website. As always, my Patreons have access to all the upgraded versions of the pieces in the position editor, to possibly create their own variants using these upgraded pieces. So be sure to check my Patreon out as well. And I think that's pretty much it. See you next time, peace.